Aloha, Soul Family. Welcome to our end of days, and that's DAZ. As usual, footage is raw, video is unedited, so we'll just kind of roll with the punches, see what the stream content brings us, and we'll just kind of get into it. I have mentioned before how I've been homeless, and so I've been going through this experience of homelessness, and even though I was homeless also on the mainland, I've been homeless now in Hawaii. And it's, like I said, it's been quite the experience, you guys. There's a huge difference between being homeless in Hawaii and then being homeless on the mainland as well. One of the things that I have, mentioned in confidence for some private emails was I wasn't aware how different Hawaii is. It is very much, I feel like, a different country, you know, in so many different ways. It's a United States. It's one of the states of the United States. But in a very real way, we're not on America, right? We're not in America. We're in the Pacific, right? In the Pacific Ocean. And so we are not only physically separate, but I believe that Hawaii is also, in a manner of speaking, spiritually and culturally separate. And to acknowledge this, I think is good. It's good. Uh, just like I would say, even on the mainland, how there's differences between like the Northwest and the Southwest or the Southeast. There's different cultures no matter where you go. But at least from my opinion, from my experience, it's different here, you guys. It's different, and it's in a lot of ways exciting. It's been fun, I guess. It's also been traumatic in some ways, but the whole thing and the whole experience has been enlightening for me. It's been something where I've been able to grow closer to God, and hopefully to people in general, and deepening my understanding as well. The culture here reminds me of conversations I've had with other individuals and some of the people that I've listened to on the past in YouTube, where just to kind of say it, like even in the experience of where I was in the mainland, the land and the area was more or less confiscated by the white settlers, in a very real way. And the native population there was more or less put into a minority type of a situation, which in a lot of ways is upside down. It's totally upside down, you guys. But I believe that this is part of a greater plan, and it's part of something which, whether or not we wanted it to happen, it ended up happening. And to rectify this situation, there needs to be cohesion. There needs to be an understanding. And that's, I feel like, a large part of my particular path is representing this middle ground, representing this idea that the two can be made one. That we don't have to have this perpetual war with each other, whether that's within ourselves, which is where it starts out at, or with other people. And that it's okay at the same time to have disagreements. It's okay to not be on the same page. And the biggest thing with that is how we conduct ourselves and how we're, treating each other. And, in my opinion, this is a large degree of how we treat ourselves on the inside. This is also why, as I've mentioned on my channel, the two main paths. I think traditionally, the Christian terminology has considered it the left-hand path or the right-hand path. I don't necessarily like that because they're both part of the same body. And I think of more of a cohesive kind of a thing where, like the creative side and the rational side, we should probably marry those parts of ourselves together. At the same time, there is this distinction that I see with people on the spiritual path. And as I've mentioned before in my other videos, I see it as the path of ignorance and then the path of awareness. And one is like the path of awareness requires strength. It requires real strength. And the path of ignorance, it will make someone very resilient because it will make things very difficult. It will make things very difficult in their lives. And in the process of doing that, we see what we can survive, which is anything. At the same time, is this really the path that you want to go down? Right? If you have the strength and the capacity to choose awareness, I very much recommend it. But it's hard. Both paths are hard. Like this is the situation that I see it. And so, one, we will be at war. We will be at perpetual war within ourselves, with each other. We will consider our, like using the example that I was talking about earlier. We can consider ourselves natives, fighting the white oppressors. We can be the missionaries trying to convert the heathens, and in that process, we are at war. We are attempting to make others into us. And I think that's the great irony. Uh, and I'm going to reveal kind of what the path of awareness really entitles from my perspective, in my opinion. And it is that we are all one, all right? Yes, we do have differences, but in that process, we are a lot more alike than we are not. But it takes a certain type of individual and strength in order to begin to walk this path. And this is, like my previous video talked about, and I don't necessarily like the term, but the chosen ones, right? The anointed, the ones who have essentially loved the truth and wanted the truth so much that they were willing to let go of everything that wasn't in alignment with the truth. And so they were strong. And in being strong, they were able to let go what no longer served them. And in that process, they gain more awareness, they gain more consciousness. And then life unfolds in a lot more, in my opinion, a magical way, a miraculous way, where things fall into alignment. Just, I know it's repetitive, but miraculously, just like magically, miraculously, just beautifully, in ways that people who are on this path of ignorance, it seems like it's cheating. That's really how it seems to be. And it's just because there's those who are operating in ignorance, and then there are those who are operating in awareness. And I kind of understand people could also try to argue a point that there's a middle ground between ignorance and awareness, but I believe it's like a sinking ship is the best way to put it, in that someone can try to maintain awareness and ignorance at the same time, but we're going to naturally gravitate toward one or the other. And I kind of see it more just like it's like the universe, God. It's the divine asking us, are you ready? Are you ready to choose awareness? And so this sinking ship is that platform to ask, hey, are you ready? Are you ready to choose awareness? Or do you need to go back into ignorance because it's too much for you? And there's no shame or degradation or anything in that. From my opinion, though, the path of ignorance does reveal shame. It does have that as a component, but not because the people who are aware are judging people for being ignorant or less than. It's more just like, as I try to explain in my videos and in my talks, those who are in awareness don't project their weaknesses onto others, because we're all the same. We are all one. And so in me demonizing or condemning any other human being, I would almost say anything else, we're really looking at ourselves. And the more that we operate from a place of awareness, the more that we see that, the more it becomes natural to just kind of, oh yeah, this is something in myself that I need to process, that I need to, understand, process, let go of. There's many different ways to say it. And it can happen very quickly too. It doesn't have to be this long, drawn out therapeutic process. Just in recognizing certain things and qualities that are really within ourselves that we've been projecting outward, we just accept it. Now, does it require strength? I say yes. We do get stronger walking this path. All right, we do get stronger, and it gets easier only in so much as we get stronger by doing this. And in the same breath, the other path, the path of ignorance, if we really end up going down this path, we become more resilient. All right, we're able to take a huge amount of pain and we keep on trucking. And each path essentially becomes a feedback loop because the more resilient I become, the more pain I can take. All right, and so I'm going to continue down this path because hey, I'm look at how resilient I am, right? And then the same goes with this, where it's just like, man, I've let go of so much, I've claimed so much, I've become so strong. I can go more. I can get even stronger. And you know, it just is what it is, and I'm starting to see that more and more and more. Um, just and I guess it's probably because it's my path, but just like the path of awareness, I have preferential treatment toward it because I do want my life to be easier. I do love having empathy and joy. I do like claiming responsibility for myself to be able to navigate this world with greater clarity. And I want to invite others to join me with there. It does require a certain level of strength, and in the process, I think both sides end up kind of helping the people who are on the sinking ship, so to speak, because people who are very much dedicated to the path of ignorance and people who are very much dedicated to the path of awareness, we're showing examples of what each path entails and the attributes of what that path entails. And so, my opinion here, which is all that it is that the path of ignorance, the path of ignorance is at first easier. And it's easier at first because we don't have to claim responsibility for anything. Where it might seem like, but in the long run, it's much, much more hard. It's much more painful. While initially, the path of awareness, it can be painful at first, very painful, right? This is what they say when they say like the truth will first destroy you, because in claiming this truth, we really get to see ourselves. Because naturally, just as a human being, as an individual, we want to see ourselves naturally as the good guy, as the strong one, the beautiful one. That, and then that's our story that we tell ourselves, our narrative. The situation becomes then, how do I go about doing this, right? What makes me a good person? What makes me like this now? And this is where this is the truth, the true presence, I feel like, of this conversation really goes. In the path of awareness, we choose to be a good person by seeing the truth. All right. We don't want to demonize or harm other people because they are an extension of ourselves. They are a reflection of ourselves. All right. And so ultimately, initially it's harder. Ultimately, it's great though. It's beautiful, and things work a lot more easy. My opinion. The other side of this is that initially it's easier on the path of ignorance because we don't have to change anything. All right, and the easiest way to make ourselves good is to make other people bad. Oh, they're the bad guys. They're the evil ones. So that's their problem, that I'm being a good person over here, and yeah, they're a bunch of idiots, and they don't know what they're doing, and they're evil. And okay, people can do that, and it's one of the things that I feel like I have a lot of confidence to talk about because I have walked both paths, and I think many of us have. Ultimately, I think to choose the path of awareness, we need to walk the path of ignorance. All right, we need to have had to walk the path of ignorance in a very real way. I would also go to say is that this world, this construct, we're born into the path of ignorance, and that's why, in so many different ways, it takes strength to walk the path of awareness. And so, I guess that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Uh, just kind of as a side note, because it's a little bit of a vlog too for me, a little bit of a video diary, if you will. As I mentioned before, I'm homeless. All right, and a lot of people are judgmental about that. They want to condemn me for being homeless, and this is more of a display of themselves, especially when they start to talk to me and they see how I am, where this is a path that I have chosen in a lot of different ways. Am I doing my best to get into a better situation? Of course. But I realize in a very real way, I've put myself here. All right. And in many different ways, I would rather choose to be homeless than compromise my integrity. And I think that's what ultimately gets people to get into this place where like, and I mean this in the most polite way possible, but it's just like the people who are on the sinking ship in the middle ground, their time is limited. And me being here and being existing as I am challenges the narratives of ignorance. And in that process, it's up to the individual. They either get to see that, wow, I have kind of abandoned myself, I have chosen compromise on a lot of different levels, just like I've chosen truth on a lot of different levels, and so I'm going to more closely align with the truth now. And other individuals will do the opposite. They'll be like, man, because my name's Keith, by the way, but they'll say like, man, that Keith, he's an arrogant, mf'er. He what a stupid howley, man. He's on his high horse. Screw him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, and either way, it's like water off a duck for me, because it's just like with me walking this path, I see that they're seeing themselves. They're choosing their own path, and I'm just in many ways helping clarify where they're going to end up at this point in time. And that this is what the path of the anointed ones are. This is what the path of the chosen ones is being a clarifier, and that it's okay, and as we like in uh, as we get to continue forward, I would say as chosen ones, as the anointed, it's beautiful, guys. It's absolutely beautiful, because we get to be alone and have it be in relationship with God. It's okay if people condemn us. It's okay if people don't understand us, because we see the truth and we have the truth, and that's all that we really truly need. And I believe strongly in this process, we're going to find each other. All right, us chosen ones and us anointed are going to find each other, and that in the process of finding each other, it's because we have walked the path. It's because we have let go of what we need to. And now we can have relationship with each other and not be in ignorance, not rely upon each other or blame each other for situations and circumstances, which are really an internal thing. And so in this, we get to help each other. We get to have community where we love each other truly. And the rest of the world is going to do what it's going to do, you guys. And especially, I will talk about the path of ignorance and my experiences with it. But as I kind of mentioned before, I like to be part of the solution. And it's really just a personal preference thing. I'm walking the path of, awareness. I'm walking this path. All right. And it is what it is for me. And so I'm probably going to identify more and talk more about the path of awareness than the path of ignorance. But I do recognize the path of ignorance. I recognize that in many real ways, this is where I came from. And as I said before, I believe this is where we all come from. And so rather than demonize this path or beat ourselves up, because that's ultimately what I see it as, for having been in ignorance, it's okay. We all start out there. All right. This is why patience, compassion, and the more awareness we have, the more we're inclined to give that to ourselves, because we see the ultimate truth, where it's just like, the more that I demonize others, the more that I demonize myself. The more that I demonize myself, the more that it's harming others as well. And so this is why it's just like, okay, so I'm going to treat others good, and I'm going to treat myself good, and it's good for everybody. All right. And that's the solution. All right. That's what I'm going with. And I'll keep making videos. I'll keep putting stuff out there. This is going to be my last recording in this room, because I'm going back out to the streets, at least at the moment. We'll see what God has for me, right? We'll see what the divine has in store. I'm hopeful, and might go back to recording on the beaches. So we'll just kind of see there. Thank you for being on this path with me, you guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate this. I really do. Um, and I hope to spark conversation and to help people in the middle clarify themselves. I hope to meet other people on the path of awareness too. So, like, totally, comment, There's a commenter who commented on a much earlier video of mine uh, with some engaging conversation, and I love that stuff, you guys. So please, uh, share, converse, eventually amongst yourselves, converse with me. I'll do my best to kind of hop to it and comment in a timely manner. But as I've said before, you guys, I'm homeless, all right, and I'm dealing with stuff, and so just kind of allow patience for me as well. So yeah, so we'll get to the regular stuff, right? So like it if you like it, guys. I love it. I love it when I get some likes, even if it's rare at this point. But I like it. I like my material. I think it's pretty funny. And subscribe, please. Even if it's just for fun, it helps me. But it's I also want to say it's not necessary. All right, I got 2 subscribers right now. That's in a lot of ways that's more than enough. I wasn't expecting 1 subscriber, so 2 is like double that, you guys. So you know, great. And if you want to prove me wrong, awesome, man. I would much rather there's a saying that I have where I'd much rather be proven wrong and be happy in the process, right? Accepting the truth, than to prove myself right and be miserable, which I would consider the path of ignorance. So there we go. And I will leave it at that. So peace out. Love within. Catch you guys on the flip side.